Hey YouTube, it's a review of a retro console. All right, it's a review of Sega Genesis. Now, why are you saying it's pointless to review a console that came out like 16 years ago, or I don't know how long ago? But I don't care. I love it, so I gotta do a review. So this was the second system by Sega after they did the Sega Master System, which got demolished by the NES, as to where this got demolished and crushed by the Super Nintendo. Not saying that I hate Sega, I like Nintendo more, but Sega was kick-ass. Now, when this came out, it was great as hell. It had 16-bit arcade graphics, and it looked just like arcade games, so they had a shitload of arcade ports, and that's kick-ass. And then after this came out, well, before they made another system, they had the add-ons. The Sega CD, which failed, but was a pretty cool concept. That's where if you're asking where the Sega CD would go, there's a little latch right here, which is impossible to open without. Alright. And you got a little red thing here, you just remove, and from here you can add on a CD-based system, which is just like interactive DVDs, and it failed, but it was an interesting concept, and I can see why people might like it, but it had no good games besides Sonic CD. And then they came out with the 32X, which I don't own any of. I can't get this back on. Shit. Anyway, the second 32X plopped right on top of the Genesis like a mushroom, and that's it. And it was 32-bit, that's why I called the 32X. And yeah, anyway, you put it on top and it sucked, but it really didn't have. Besides Knuckle Chaos was pretty much like the only good game for it. You get the power button, reset button, pretty basic. Cartridge input, or put your your games are all cart based if you don't have the CD, Sega CD. And they go right in and you read them. I don't like it. It's really loose in my opinion. Or it feels a little loose. And I don't know, it's not as good as the Nintendo cartridges, because their cartridge doesn't always felt solid in my opinion. You got two controller inputs. Back here is the adapter, which comes with the system. You got AV output here. Now, I don't know what the original system is used, but for 12 bucks, a little pricey, I got AV cables, so that's cool. Bottom, nothing. If you need help, call Sega. Wonder if I can still call them. I might try that later. Anyway, the two controller inputs, and yeah, we're gonna go over the controller. And here's the power adapter. It's huge. I mean, you saw the AVGN's video about the other ones. I mean, about the Sega 32X. The Sega, I don't remember which one, but you'll see. This thing is huge. I mean, like, look at my hand compared to it. It's huge. It takes up a shitload of space. But if you have a slimline PS2 model, you can use that adapter. That's what I use. And yeah, it's a solid ass system. This is the second model. First there was a huge ass one, and then came the Genesis 2, which is what I have, in Genesis 3, which I think it looks like the exact same thing, just smaller. You might want to see the controller. Now, it's a kidney beam shape controller, and I love it. Now, it's pretty lightweight, and it's great. Now, someone out there asked me, I don't remember username, but then it was like RSBot something. He said, how can you like the Genesis controller being all light and you don't like the PS3 controller being light? Well, on a little side note, this is very simple. It's just got the 8-way directional pad, which we'll get to in a few minutes, and it's got 3 buttons and a start button. It's very simplistic, lightweight, pretty cool. With the PS3 controller, you get a shitload of buttons on there. You get the R2 and L2. You get the L and R button. You get the shoulder buttons and the triggers, so that will be 4. And then the triangle, square, X, and circle, so that would be 4, and there'd be 8 So there's pretty much 8 primary buttons, and then the D-pad, which would be 4, and that'd be 12, and then you have the 2 buttons, the start and stop, so that would be 14 buttons on the controller, and it's light as fuck. It is so light, and with a when you're controlling games as sophisticated as that, I don't like the light, simplistic feel that it gives. Anyway, Genesis controller, it's lightweight, as I mentioned. It's got 8-way directional pad, so even with the 3D-esque type games they had, it worked out pretty well, and I liked it a lot. You got A, B, and C, which I call the trigger buttons. It says right down here. Why, I don't know, but A, B, and C, pretty kick-ass stuff there, and it works so well. I love the 8-way directional pad, which I think is what gave it a pretty cool new feel for 3D type games like Doom. Yeah, and it's simplistic and it works cool. And you can use Sega Genesis controller on an Atari 2600. It's kind of weird. So yeah, the inputs here, and it's got a lot of great games. I happen to own about 20 games, and my favorite of them is Sonic 2, and this spawned a lot of great games, a lot of great arcade ports. My favorite arcade port being Altered Beast. I think it's an arcade game, and it awesome. The system was just so amazing. I'm gonna give it a 9.9 out of 10. It's an almost perfect console. Sega, awesome. I love Sega Genesis. It's kick-ass. Alright, and then what do I think? What do I prefer, the Super Nintendo or the Sega Genesis? Super Nintendo, because I'd give that system a 10 out of 10. It is one of the most flawless systems in history, if not the most flawless system in history. It's great. It is amazing. It came out at a perfect time. It's anyway. Yeah, so that was just a pretty half-ass review, just throwing together really quick. Anyway, I'll see you guys later. Bye.